everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is Friday, April the 10th, 2026. It's around 4:50 and today is the last Friday before STAAR testing season begins for pretty much all of Texas and for my campus. We will be testing the next 3 Wednesdays, the 15th for STAAR reading, the 22nd for STAAR science only for 5th grade, and then the 29th for my subject, STAAR math. I am super proud of my kids, but honestly, I wish it was here already. I want this done. I don't want to stress no more. I think I am 100% tired of small groups because on Wednesday, guys, I have got to tell you, I had this horrible headache just all throughout right here. I think 70% of the headache came from not drinking a lot of water from the previous days. I'm usually a pretty good water drinker, but I just think I kind of forgot or I just haven't been drinking as much because on Wednesday, from when I woke up to when I slept, pretty much just terrible headache, and it only went away with lots and lots of sleep. So I did not do any small group. Miss Mary was a saint and she pretty much did small group all by herself. I was just making sure the kids were on level 1 because any noise, I had to turn off my radio because whenever they made an announcement with like the lunch or the announcement, it was just a pounding headache. I was gonna call off, but then I remembered that I only have 1 day left of PTO, and for, you know, I can get paid. I can take other days off, but obviously they will deduct my pay from, you know, my salary. So I was like, I'm gonna save my last day either when I'm fully sick, like I am just sneezing and coughing, I'm dead in bed, or when I have a doctor appointment. And I actually do have to take my mom to the doctor on May the 5th, and I have a dermatologist appointment on that same day. So that will be my last day of PTO. So I was like, let me just suck it up and go to school, and I did. And the kids were very quiet. They were a little issue towards the last class just because, you know, it's like towards the end of the day and they want to go home, same as me, but otherwise the kids were really great. They kind of understood that I wasn't feeling well. I did no small groups, like I said, because anytime I tried, trust me, I even brought 4 students to my small group, but anytime I was talking, it was just the pounding of the headache. So I also knew like my body was just so tired. I'm pushing myself to get these kids where they need to be, but I am so proud of my students. I truly think that my projection goal of 65 to 70% will totally be met. I'm so excited to see what the results be. Unfortunately, we don't get the results until June or July. I think it's June, I'm not quite sure. But luckily, math growth, which we will take after. I keep reminding the students, y'all don't forget we have math growth, because they think STAAR and they're like, okay, I'm done, like let's go play and party. But it's like, don't forget y'all, we have 1 more week and then we have math growth and then you're done. We get to do projects, and luckily the projects are already set up. Now, what's also next week, and I think that's also why I've been stressing too. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Rockin' review. You guys know my feelings on it. I'm not gonna mention it. I have been preparing for it though. So I will say I'm a little bit more secure. I feel like I'm a little bit more understanding of how the games are played. I will say that the instructions are being followed 80 to 90%. I will say I am tweaking a little bit of the games. I'm not following it 100%. I'm kind of making it my own, adapting it to my students and their needs and just how I know they work together well. For example, my first class and my second class do great at collaboration. They participate really well and they just are really great at projects. My third class though, they kind of fight. Okay, last time I put them in a group, they were just arguing and I was sick and tired of it. I don't know what it is about that third class, but they are just not very friendly when it comes to collaboration. Now, I have taught them, like, okay, y'all, this is how y'all work together. This is how y'all collaborate. this is the things you need to say. But I just think bad friendships and bad blood between them, and because they have been stuck together since pre-K, like they literally just move up with each other at grade level. Some of them have known each other since pre-K. I just think it's, you know, they just need a break from each other, honestly. I don't know why they don't switch them or mix them when they get to 3rd grade or 4th grade, because literally it's like, well, you had this teacher, now you have this teacher. So I don't know. Either way, I digress. I gotta work with my 3rd class because Rock and Review is pretty much all about group work, and I don't know how I'm gonna work. They've been doing really good with reading, but reading was not really group work. It was more like independent, but kind of talk to your partner kind of group work. Math is more like 4 in a group work, so we'll see how that plays out. I know my 1st and 2nd class will be okay. I don't know about my 3rd, but we'll play around with it. And the only thing I don't like about my 3rd class is that they're the ones that I get split between lunch and ancillary. So I don't know how Rock and Review will be. Maybe I'll do the Rock and Review the first 30 minutes of class. We'll go to lunch, recess, ancillary, and then we'll do our STAAR practice. I don't know. We all gotta play it by ear here. But let me go ahead and show you around the classroom. Nothing else exciting happened today. Oh, last thing that happened today on Friday. I don't know if y'all live in the Houston area or around it, or if y'all like the weather, but it was a downpour pretty much the entire day today. But not just that, it was a downpour during dismissal. The ends of my hair is wet. I have to dry it off when I get home, or maybe take a shower, or just make sure I'm super dry. My shoes are wet, my socks are wet. It was just a raining cats and dogs scenario. We had to stick all the kids, because normally the kids are outside waiting for their name. We had to stick them in the classroom and call them one by one as we saw the parents. The parents luckily were super like, okay, you know, take your time, I know it's raining. Like, they were even coming out with their umbrella and hovering it over us. So they were very sweet, very patient, very kind. But it was just a mess during dismissal today. Luckily it did calm down after about 10 minutes, but those first 10 minutes, I'm soaked. I'm so luckily I've had an hour to like dry off, but I was soaked, y'all. It was terrible. I feel still like, you know, like when you're like drying off, you feel wet. Anyway, I digress. Let me go ahead and show you around the classroom, because I just mostly have the Rock and Review stuff over here in the back, as well as a little bit on the side. Let me show you. I just realized that the lights did turn off, so I turned them back on just for the video. Remind me to turn them off before I leave. If not, they will be on pretty much Saturday and Sunday. But I have a couple things here that I needed to show you. I have this long pieces. They're like 5 pieces. This is for case. It actually spells out spring has sprung, as well as like an Easter thing. We did it on last Monday. And I do want to display it on an anchor chart or bulletin board paper for the case after school showcase that we have next month. I also have the measuring up and STAAR practice here. I do love having this. I feel like the kids don't even need it at this point, but I feel like I need it just to make sure that we are on track with everything. I did make another one for STAAR series and STAAR practice, and then when they flip over to their other side, I just added arrows for this one. We have next week's cut and paste activities for their STAAR practice. Because they are taking their STAAR reading on Wednesday, I don't want to give them STAAR task cards, because I know that they're going to be stressed out, and I kind of want to make it easier for them. I do need to print out their answer keys. I do see that this is starting to rip, but that's totally okay. I'm going to replace it sometime next week, maybe on Thursday. Again, I just want to give them more cut and paste activities to kind of relax their brain. Plus, we will be starting Rock and Review. So Rock and Review is usually about 20 to 30 minutes. So that will take away about that time to finish these activities here. I have been asking the students to please bring me soap or soap refills, because this was our last bottle before our students and their parents were very generously donating a lot of soap here, as well as some soap refills. So I am very grateful that I have some very supporting parents. We did give this out to every student, to every parent, but I'm going to put it here just so that students can see when is the STAAR testing dates. The last thing that I really need to show you guys is this back table. As you can see, it's pretty much filled. First thing we have is we actually had a birthday today. We actually had 2 birthdays, but one of the parents of one of the students who had a birthday brought cupcakes and pizza. Unfortunately, she did also bring drinks as well, but because it was raining and downpouring when she came, she forgot the drinks in the car. So she only brought pizza and cupcakes, and then we just told the students to drink water from the water fountain, but that was totally okay. So I have a little cupcake here, and then I am so glad that I brought my birthday party supply bin because I had gloves in here, which remind me to supply or resupply or replenish. I'm not quite sure which one it is. And then she also did not have enough paper plates, so I actually was able to pull out some more paper plates as well as napkins as well. So if you ever have lots of birthday parties, always make a little birthday bin or party supply bin for emergencies. Now the rest of this is pretty much for rockin' review. We have the game mats. I do want to put this in a sleeve protector so it does not get ruined. It's only for one day, so it's not like, you know, we're gonna reuse it, but they are all ready to go here. I am using this back shelf. I'm going to put my game mats here to hold some of my smaller supplies. So right here are all of the cards needed for tic-tac tally. So I have 7 groups just because these are a little bit more easier to lose, just because I think there's 24 cards in total or 20 cards. I'm not quite sure. I need to count before I give it to them. And we have here ready to go. I did make the game Zoink. I did find it on TikTok. Basically, if kids get it right, they get to choose a card, but they don't get to look at it. Their team has to decide whether they keep it or they give it to another team, and they have to then look at the back. If it's green, it's positive. They get points. If it's yellow, let's see if this one's yellow. There it is. They lose everything. Oh my God, this one was like the whammy, you know, like you remember that game show? It's like double whammy or something, and if you have it, you lose everything, kind of like Jeopardy bankrupt. So I created that one. That one is not from Lead Forward, but I know that one is super engaging, and I definitely want to play it on Friday as a replacement for another game that is just not as fun or engaging. This one is for the mystery bag. Mystery bag, I'm not following it 100%. Like I said, I'm following it 80%, but we have everything ready. I printed them out. I put them in groups ready to go. So if we go back here, I have prepared day 2 and day 5. So if we actually look at the second page here, this is what the kids will see when I am starting the Rockin' Review game. This is what their anchor chart will look like at the very beginning, and at the very end it will look like this. So this is basically the answer key. They will, with their partner, take out a card, figure out which question it goes to. So these are the main questions, 4 questions, and then they have to see whether it's a true statement or it's a false statement. For example, this one is false because then you had to, first you had to divide and then you had to divide again. So this one is like multiplication and it's addition. So that's totally wrong. So you can see that here they had to divide first 300 by 4 and then divide again into a 2-step problem. So I'm going to give them the answer key so that way they can check their work and they can see if they were right or wrong. And then I did prepare the second, I think this is day 5, but we have 3 mystery bags throughout the 10 days. So this one is for decimals, this one is on multiplication, decimals, and the last one is fractions, and I think that is day 8 towards the very end. So again, this is what it will look like when they first start. They will have to create the anchor chart and then sort, and then this is the answer key. So I wanted to prepare at least day 2 and day 5 to kind of, you know, not fall so behind, because this did take up a whole ancillary time to prepare, but I'm so glad that I did it because it is now out of the way. Underneath the anchor charts, I have the test, that we took today, you guys can see that one of my students got 100. Yay for them. Most of my students actually did really well. Again, I tried doing it online, but there was an error message and I was just like, you know what, just give me the paper version and we'll do it then. And so luckily the students were able to successfully do pretty well. I think I only had about 6 students that failed, and not failed miserably. It was just probably like 1 or 2 questions and they would have passed. So overall, I think we do need to make this into the online version. They probably will have to log in and just click the correct answers. But so far, we do have the results from Friday's TFAR test. I did forget to mention that I did add this cute little leave it open thing. So basically, they just open it, grab a red pen, they can check their answers here, and then they just put it back. I like this because a lot of kids were using pencil, and I just felt like red pen was a little bit more safe in making sure that they were actually checking and revising their work. Again, I'm going to try and use this area to kind of set up my rock and review. Again, I just have day 1, and then this is day 2, as well as day 5 for the zoink, or day 4 maybe. I don't know. We kind of play around with it. We are not going to do rock and review on the days that the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders are testing their STAAR. So the next 3 Wednesdays, they're not going to be doing rock and review. So we have to start on Monday in order for the last day of rock and review to be done on Tuesday the 28th. That is pretty much it for today. I just wanted to give you a quick update. There was nothing really exciting going on. We are just in the midst of STAAR practice. We are testing pretty much to the test. Again, we were trying to do our TFAR online, but it just did not work. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and go home. I will see you guys next week. I apologize again for not recording, but like I said, we're just super busy with everything going on. I will do my very best to catch you guys up as much as I can. Goodbye, guys.